Hey, Aquarius, Mel, intuitive coach here, excited to bring in your quarter two reading for April, May, and June 2025. If you're interested in a personal reading, signing up for the monthly newsletter, or entering into the free reading giveaway, you can find all that information in the description box below the video. All right. Aquarius, what's in store for you for the next 3 months? Now, I am being shown here the Statue of Liberty. Perhaps some of you are working on freeing yourself. I feel like there's a vibe of liberation, freedom that is coming in here for you. And I'm also sensing for some of you, maybe you live near New York. This may have to do with working for the government or perhaps the scales of justice. Some of you may be dealing with a legal situation. And I feel like quarter two is all about stepping out of perhaps the shadow, the conflict, the challenge, and embracing a more peaceful, more abundant vibe. And that's what I'm seeing here, smack dab in quarter two. Now, bottom of the deck, you have the Five of Swords in reverse, and you have co-create. This is about unity versus division. This is about bringing something together instead of feeling like there are opposing forces that are blocking your every move. Now, the Five of Swords in reverse means you are walking away from something that was very challenging. Oftentimes the Five of Swords is someone taking advantage of you. It can be an unfair fight, anger, rage, poor sportsmanship. It can be a win at all costs mentality. I mean, you see the lion and the unicorn, they both have their teeth out. They both are fierce and they're going at it. And it just feels like you may have been dealing with an opposing energy that was acting from the ego. And it may have caused you to react in a certain way that didn't align with who you want to be. You know, you didn't want to be caught up in some sort of drama. And perhaps your teeth came out and it feels like you had to protect yourself in some way. And maybe that's what you want to be freed from, is whatever this Five of Swords is, the conflict, the arguments, the unfair fights, the battle of the ego. Because it's in reverse, it tells me that you just want to come together. You want to co-create with spirit, and you want to live a more peaceful life, a more abundant life. And I feel like that's what you are walking into here. Or that's what you are choosing by making some new decisions in quarter two that are going to help bring about less anxiety and bring more solitude in some way. It feels like excuse me, solitude or peace, simplicity. I feel like those are the energies after really going through whatever this mess was. Oof. All right, let's take a look and clarify. April 2025, you have the tribe. For some of you, this has to do with your family. This has to do with your tribe, your community. I feel like a lot of you felt like you were standing on, one foot. It's like you had to try to balance something out here. Now, the giraffe is represented in this picture, and the giraffe can rise above, right? They can see things that others cannot because of their long necks. And some of you, this may even have to do with a parent and a child. It may have to do with conflict between children, or perhaps family members were arguing or fighting over children or child placement or custody battles. And for others of you, this is a battle of wounded inner children coming out. And I feel like you've learned a lot, but you also don't want to continuously stay in some sort of fight or flight here. There's community, there is support available for you. I am getting that. So if you feel like you're alone, Aquarius, you're not. Now we do have the Tower coming in. The Tower, this is something you already know about. So I don't feel like this is something that's coming in and it's landing right in your lap. I feel like it has to do with that Five of Swords. So restructuring, rebalancing here, taking a look at how to pick up the pieces from something here and build based on a newfound sense of self, a newfound sense of identity, and even taking a look at the structures that were based on lies or based on faulty foundations, because ultimately the Tower, which is Aries energy, and in the month of April, we are in Aries season, I feel like the Towers come in to offer you a new beginning. A new beginning that is more peaceful, that is more aligned to your spiritual values and your beliefs, because something threw you for a loop here. It really did. And you may have felt like you were sucked up in this tornado. But the advice here is to invest in the things that you love. This is labors of love. Eight of Pentacles is one of my favorite cards because it's about you learning mastery, right? And mastery to me isn't about achieving the highest level and then we're good. To me, mastery is about knowing that there are unlimited possibilities for us to tap into, to learn and to grow. I don't feel like that ever ends. I feel like we're constantly searching out new things and learning and exploring and opening up to discovery. Now, this tells me that some of you could be going back to school. Some of you may be learning a new skill. For others of you, this is about dedicating yourself to your craft. It's about loving your work, and it's about experimenting as well. Now, you see that there's a chef. It's the Duchess cook here. So there's a cook in the kitchen, and she has everything that she possibly could need to create a 5-star elaborate meal. And it's important here that, yes, sometimes there's a recipe. Sometimes there's a recipe and it's clear. We follow that recipe. It turns out great. But also other times we are asked to explore. Throw some things into the pot, add some spices here, add your own flavor, add your own touch of something. And that's what the advice is. Don't be afraid to add your own spin on something that may be more traditional. And I feel like a lot of you are stepping up into new growth and you're getting better at understanding something. You are learning more, which is allowing you to level up in a new way. Okay. I love that this is your advice. Now, the blessing is the Ace of Pentacles. There's a start of a new life here. This is huge. When you have the Tower, some of you, this is a new family, a new friendship, a new job. This could be eating better because we see a chef here in the kitchen. So you may be focusing on foods that fuel you instead of feel like your body, even your digestive system. For some of you, this is represented by maybe the colon and digesting certain foods that they don't agree with you. You may be taking a look at all of that and saying, okay, I need to make some changes because something is fighting me. And if this isn't another person, I feel like it's part of our own minds. Sometimes it can be the egoic mind saying, I know what's best for you. But then the intuition, that soft voice saying, well, wait a second, how does it make you feel? It's not necessarily a fad or a diet that everybody else is doing. How does your body feel when you consume something? Or how does this relationship feel to you versus your whole family telling you this is a great person? Yeah, you should stay with them. But are you happy? And that's what I see you doing here, Aquarius, is you are taking a look at the imbalance or areas of your life that feel like maybe you've settled into it. That's why Lady Liberty is coming in here saying, wait a second, you don't have to feel tethered or tied. That's why the Tower is coming in. You are liberating yourself from something, and you are kicking up a brand new life. Ace of Pentacles. This is the silver slippers, right? Tap in those slippers 3 times. There's no place like home, but I feel like home is a place within. And for some of you, this is a new home. Okay. You are moving. Okay. You're moving to a new place. You're relocating. Some of you could be moving to be near family. Maybe there's been some struggle with health issues with a family member, and you could be taking care of someone. Take that as it resonates. Now, moving into the month of May, you have Between Worlds. Between worlds, remember what I said in the beginning of your reading where you're not quite out of the change, the transformative period that you've been in. You're still kind of feeling like your foot's over here. You haven't quite embraced this new beginning 100%. So yeah, you're feeling like you're between worlds at this time. But the good news is that flamingo, the front portion of the body, is in the light, and the past here, behind him, there's some sort of shadow. It's like the shadow is now behind you. And I feel like the light is upon you where you're looking back and you're saying, wow, that was heavy. What I just went through, that was deep. But that was a cycle of my life I had to endure to either open me up, open my heart chakra up, to either start this new life because perhaps I wasn't happy, but I was pretending in some way, okay? Or this has opened you up to fully embrace who you are meant to be. And I feel like the tornado, the tower, is actually a blessing. It's a blessing here. Now, the overall vibe is the Death card. Don't resist change. I mean, this is the ending and the beginning here. So there is something that is closing out for you. The Death card is all about rebirth. And rebirth is a beautiful thing. You know, the cycle of life is a beautiful thing. And yes, we shed tears of loss, of letting go, but we also shed tears of rebirth, right? If you've ever watched a birth or a child being born, it brings you to tears. And same if you've watched someone exit or leave the world. And that this doesn't have to be that someone is, you know, giving birth or dying, but it feels like it in a metaphorical way where something is closing out of your life here, Aquarius. And I see that you're rising. This is the Phoenix rising here. Try to fully submerge yourself in this light. Even though the shadow is going to still be behind you here, I feel like this is your permission slip. This is your permission slip to fully step into the light. And for some of you, of course, you don't need me to tell you that, but there may be a belief or there may be some sort of conditioning or restructuring that you are going through that's kind of held you back in a way. And I feel like you can fully step into this energy because the advice is the Lovers in reverse. Try to make choices that align with your heart, right? When the Lover shows up in reverse, yes, you may have felt stuck in a bad union. Perhaps there was a very, very difficult choice for you to make. And for some of you, you had to depart from a situation where love no longer existed, or love, it felt like ugly love. And it felt like ugly love where it was maybe toxic, or it was based on conditions, or perhaps you just grew into different versions of yourself and it no longer was held by the foundation of love that it once was. Whether this be a relationship, whether it be a job that you once loved, or maybe even some acts of self-care. I feel like the advice here is saying the heart is awakening to a new beginning. Allow it. The blessing is the Hanged Man. When the blessing shows up as the Hanged Man, this is a completely new perspective on life. And you've gone through something. Some of you, this was a spiritual awakening. Sometimes that's caused through like a near-death experience, like a cancer scare. It could be an accident, something like that you've gone through. For others of you, I mean, this can be a wake-up call where you have a burst of insight while you're in the shower. There's a download that comes to you, and you say to yourself, what am I doing? What am I doing here? I feel stuck. How do I free myself? What do I need to do? Even if this is one of the most difficult things ever. For one, you have the strength to do it. I see that here. You are a powerhouse, but you could be staying due to like obligation is what I feel. You may feel like you have to stay due to obligation. I also am getting a very specific message. So for some of you, please take this again as it resonates. It's not going to jive with everyone. Someone may be going home. And I said this earlier with the death card. And what I mean is it feels like someone is letting go of the earthly plane and they're crossing over this month. Or it could be that, the month of May is very significant for a loved one who has crossed over. And I feel like there's a lot of love here, but you're now seeing that, you're seeing things from a different perspective than maybe you saw years ago when they crossed. Okay. I feel like there's a blessing here. And also for some of you, your clairaudience is waking up. Like you may be seeing things. I don't know about you guys, but I'm clairvoyant, or I said clairaudience. So that's interesting. So clairvoyance and clairaudience here, but there's something about listening to like the songs that are showing up. There could even be a song that plays on the radio and it has a level of symbolism, but I'm being shown the third eye. So clairvoyance, no such, excuse me, no such thing as those Freudian slips. So there's something here about listening, but also paying attention to your visions because you may be seeing things. I've been seeing a lot of glitches lately where I will, for example, put something away and I'll go to turn around and that same item that I just put away is right in front of me. And I have to look a couple times, and that's been happening more so. So some of you, you're not going crazy. You're not losing your mind. Your perception here is shifting and altering as our energies are shifting and altering. So pay attention to your clairaudience and your clairvoyance, which are both aligned there in that same region. So there's heightened spiritual awareness coming in the month of May. All right, Aquarius, the month of June, all that glitters. I feel like you've discovered that something isn't as you thought it would be. All right. And that's freeing you because you're saying, wait a second, this isn't the job that I thought it was going to be. Or this isn't the relationship that I had hoped it would be. So something here you are realizing the truth of. There's number 16. That's the Tower. Something that has occurred. It feels like you now see the silver lining. This is the month where you are rebuilding a life based on truth, based on authenticity. And I'm getting simplicity for you. So it feels like not everything is as it appears, but I feel like the masks are off now because the main vibe is the 6 of Wands. It feels like success is near, success is on the horizon. But first of all, like those masks had to come off. For some of you, you felt overlooked because, or maybe you overlooked a situation here in some way because it was masked by something shiny. And we tend to do that. It's very human of us. We say, oh, well, that's shiny. I'm going to focus on the shiny part without digging into something a little further. Or we're not meant to fully understand until we go through something and we come out the other side and we're like, whoa, what was that whirlwind? The 6 of Wands is success. It is about recognition here. You're recognizing that your highest good or this new path ahead is fully illuminated for you. And you're seeing that even though there have been people who have challenged you, they were part of your success. Believe it or not, they have helped you become who you are today, even if they challenge you to the core, right? Even if it was an old teacher you had back in high school that was always harping on you. Perhaps it was that first heartbreak, or for some of you, it was a very manipulative energy that you dealt with. All of the people, the good, the bad, the ugly, all of them played a role. And I feel like you are recognizing something deep within yourself without looking for external validation. Now, is that external validation coming in? Excuse me, is it available? 100%. But I feel like that's not where the true accolades lie. There's something within yourself that you may be uncovering. This glitter, it could be that you may be overcoming perfectionism here, Aquarius, or you could be unmasking parts of yourself that you may have been hiding. There may have been this persona or this image that you were displaying, but underneath there was a sense of unhappiness. And I feel like that is what is being shattered. It reminds me of Julia Roberts in the movie Eat, Pray, Love, when she realizes, yes, she has the perfect job and she has the spouse that, everybody loves, and she has the friends and she has the finances, but she's not happy. Everything on paper looks great, but she's not truly fulfilled. And I feel like that's where you've been here, where that emotional piece, that spiritual piece, it may have felt missing in some way. And now you've unmasked this version, and you're out there ready to, eat, pray, and love. And that's what I see here coming in for you, because the advice is the Three of Pentacles. This is about you finding your people. This is about you finding your sense of belonging, community, friendships. And even if there are people who have left your life, I feel like it was to make space for people who match your energy, who respect you, who care for you, who are vibing at that same level as you. And the Three of Pentacles here, as the advice, is also about making sure that you are living by the golden rule. All right, what is the golden rule? Treat people the way that you want to be treated, including your own self. Treat yourself with that kindness that you want other people to treat you. Because when there's an imbalance, when something is being reflected to you, look at that reflection. Because you have sat in an energy that has felt restless or dissatisfied. And I feel like Q2 is all about you looking at those areas and saying, okay, I am going to fight for what I believe in, right? I'm going to fight for my peace, if anything, if that's what you're fighting for. But you're not going to fight from a place of ego. You're going to fight from a place of spiritual alignment. The blessing is the Four of Cups. You're letting go. Freedom, liberation. When the Four of Cups shows up, this is a turning point for you. A lot of you have been focused on the past, rebuild. This Tower, this Five of Swords may have occurred 8 months ago, 8 years ago. It may have even occurred in your childhood. So it's been maybe a lifelong process for some of you Aquarians out there. But when the Four of Cups arrives, this is a turning point where you're reaching out in some way. You're letting go. It feels, instead of sitting on something, sitting on pain or disappointment or even boredom, jealousy, whatever emotions, because this is a very emotional vibe. It feels like you are allowing yourself to be free of some of the emotions that have caused you to sit still, that have caused you to stay in place. And the Four of Cups is your blessing, is saying, all right, there's energies that are connecting with you at this time. There's arms that are being opened. You are freed. It's like a bird free from the cage. But sometimes when that bird has been in the cage for so long and the door is open, what does it do? It chooses to stay in the cage because that's what it knows. You're being asked to spread your wings. You're being asked to not play small anymore. Wow. Whatever it is that you're going for now, whether this be a new, job opportunity, or again, it's something that feels healthier to you, your health. It could be relationships. Trust that where you are going is built in authenticity and truth. There's nothing masked underneath. Why? Because the masks are off. You've been peeling back layer by layer over time. So even though you've been feeling like you've been sitting still in some way, or you've been focused on rebuilding from the past, you've done good work, Aquarius. You've done really good work. You've been peeling back those layers. And I feel like quarter two is preparing you so you can fully step into this light. Fully step into the light. I'm getting 4 months here with the 4 of Cups. It feels like the 4th month. So April, that is April energy showing up at the beginning, the tribe, maybe 4 months from April. So August time. It feels like quarter 3 is when you're fully embracing, like you're fully out there spreading your wings. And that's when you're really going to see everything falling into place. Now, it doesn't mean that quarter 2 is negative or challenging you to the core. It's nothing you cannot get through. I feel like, yes, there will be some big changes, and there's a lot of new beginnings that are being initiated for you. Could be, again, that new job or that new home. But I feel like the month of August, I'm getting 8 here for you. And we have the 8 starting off in April. But perhaps August is when you feel more settled. You feel more settled. You feel more at peace. You feel more simplicity here in some way. It feels like you're loving the momentum that you've been following here, or it feels like you're just at a much better place within yourself. You feel way more aligned. You're getting there here. All right, let's get some additional messages. Aquarius, if you would like to be entered into the free monthly reading giveaway, all you need to do in the comment box, drop your favorite phrase, quote, or saying in the comment section below. Your favorite phrase, quote, or saying. And if you can't think of one, let me know. I'm about to read 4 of them for you. Let me know if any stand out and what one really calls to your soul. And I will draw a winner on the 1st of the month. I post right back here on the community tab, so please be sure to hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. All right, your first card out here. You don't have to be perfect to be amazing. We did talk about perfectionism here. And for some of you, that has held you back, right? It feels like there's that persona that you are breaking through. You're crashing through that glass ceiling of what looks good on paper, but you're really going after something that feels more aligned with your body, mind, and spirit here. You don't have to be perfect to be amazing. Accepting that you are perfectly imperfect, right? Perfectly imperfect. It is never too late to be what you might have been. George Eliot. I love this message because so often we get stuck in a belief system that says we're running out of time, right? It's too late. I can't fall in love at 90, right? Or I can't go back to school at 50, or whatever it is that we tell ourselves. Where there's a will, there's a way. And whether you believe it or not, that's going to be your truth. If you think you can, you're right. If you think you can't, you're also right. I've been loving reading the responses from these next 3-month readings for all of you dropping your favorite quotes and phrases. And that's one that really stood out. So I'm not quite sure who said it or what reading, but basically it's if you believe you can, you're right. And if you believe you can't, you're also right. So pay attention to those beliefs because that's what's going to motivate you. It's never too late to be what you might have been. Everyone is afraid of something, even those who frighten us. Yeah, everybody has fears. It's part of the human experience. But I've been talking a lot about fear lately. And you may have heard me share this analogy. I'm going to share it again. Fear to me is like sitting in a driveway and you're sitting in a 1969 beautiful red Camaro and you're excited to hit the road, right? You're excited. However, you let fear get behind the driver's wheel, right? You let fear get behind the wheel. Fear sits there and buckles up and you get in the passenger side, your soul self, and you say, okay, well, let's go fear. And fear says, well, maybe we'll run out of gas. Maybe we should wait. We're going to hit rush hour. Fear says, well, this is a beautiful mint condition 1969 Camaro. We don't want to bang it up. Maybe we should just sit here for a little while. Perhaps we should wait. Maybe it's not the right time. You know, fear is going to give us 1,000,010 excuses to stay in the driveway. Now, the important thing is, yes, fear is part of who we are. It's important, though, to tell fear to get in the back seat. You can come with fear. You can help me out when I need it, but you're not the one that's driving this 69 Camaro. And I feel like you are getting ready to hit the road. That's what this reading feels like. You may be overcoming fear in a very big way by taking action. You're prepared, you're ready, and you're in style. You're looking good. You've been planning for this. You've had your driver's license for a while now, right? And even if you feel like you're not quite sure where you're going, at least you're getting out there and you're going. And you can figure things out along the way. But so often we stay in the driver's seat because we feel like we're not sure where we're even going. Where do I even go, Mel? But you are navigating by trusting your own inner wisdom here. And I do feel like that road ahead is actually going to be more smooth than you think. That's what you are gearing up for. But perhaps you are focusing on worst case scenario because maybe last time you went out, you know, you hit rush hour traffic and you got stuck for hours on end, or, you know, there may have been a flat tire, or maybe, you know, something happened and that belief has caused you to not try again. And I feel like that's the message. Everyone is afraid of something. So also, someone that you are dealing with, someone that you are battling with, they also have fears, and it may be masked or disguised by ego. Inflated ego, by control, by perfectionism, by addictions. But everyone has something that scares them. And lastly here, Mary Ann Radmacher, courage doesn't always roar. Sometimes courage is the quiet voice at the end of the day saying, I will try again tomorrow. I will try again tomorrow. And we talked a lot about the courage. I mean, you actually have the lion showing up here and the 5 of Swords. And this is card 8. That is the strength. And I'm talking about August coming in here. So it feels like your courage will pay off. And I have a feeling that because you're staying determined here, because you are fighting for your future, right? You're fighting for your health and your happiness. You're not fighting because you're sucked into some sort of fear-based energy or drama. I feel like you're fighting for that courage and saying, I'm not going to give up. I am going to try again, and I will eventually succeed. And I see that you will. That's what I have for you, Aquarius. If this resonates, please hit that thumbs up button. Feel free to share, like, subscribe, and hit that bell. And don't forget to drop your favorite quote in the comment section below.